Hello students, welcome you all to our next video lecture on a discussion of the next type of pollutions, that is the noise pollution as well as the nuclear hazards pollution. So with respect to today's lecture, and we'll be discussing, if you have any doubts you can send me an email to the email IDs which are highlighted on the screen here, as well as the WhatsApp number is available with you. So using this you can get clarified your doubts. So now the noise pollution. So if you observe carefully, the picture itself says regarding noise pollution. So you can see there is ambulance, helicopter, another vehicle, then the different devices, tape recorder. So you can see the center. Imagine that you are self. So suddenly when the noise level goes on increasing, how it feels, becomes very much disturbance, irritable. Sometimes also we become very much angry. So in very very simple words, what is noise, students? It is nothing but undesirable sound is nothing but is called as noise pollution. So therefore what you can say, students, in very very simple words is the noise pollution is mainly due to excess amount of unwanted sound. So therefore if the level increases, it becomes creating disturbance and it is affecting everybody. So therefore many times we experience, especially in the festivals and all, or in some campaigning, when the noise level increases, so automatically it becomes disturbance also. So you can see in this picture clearly. So how it is affecting right now, let us see here. The causes for the noise pollution, some of the causes they have shown, they have said industrialization. You know, if there is an industry, there are a lot of machines. When there are a lot of machines, when the machines are running continuously, they create a large amount of noise. A large amount of noise, obviously they are nothing but developing or creating disturbances. So therefore it is a major, industries play a major role for the noise pollution. So normally the noise is a thing, but if the sound intensity is more than 80 decibels, it is treated as the noise itself. So not only the industries, the people who are residing surrounding the industries, even they also are very much affected with this noise pollution, especially from the industries. Then poor urban planning. Yes, in the cities, whatever the roads, the houses, they have been planned, if they have been planned good in a good fashion, so then the problem of noise won't be there. Otherwise, if you observe, if the houses are side by side, if it's having large number of family members, obviously there will be a lot of noise happening there, which is creating disturbance for you, and obviously you say that it is uncomfortable for them. So therefore even in the cities, the roads, the houses, the parks, everything, whatever is planned, it has to be planned in a proper way, and it is a major cause for even the noise pollution also. Then as I said, regarding social events, especially when the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi arrives, we see that we itself try to increase the sound intensity of the speakers. It may be in the political campaigns or in marriage functions, but it is good to us, but when the other people becomes too much tough for them, and becomes very much difficult to sustain also. Then transportation, the houses which are near to the roads, you know that there is a continuous movement of the vehicles, which becomes very much uncomfortable for the people to live there. So as a result, it is intolerance for the people also. So this is also a fact that if there is even many times, if you have experienced, students, the trains, the railway stations which are nearby to their houses, the people are fed up because of the horning sound of the train, the noise is nothing but creating disturbance for many people. Apart from that, construction sites, you know, when a construction site is begun, continuously there will be a lot of noise going on. Sometimes we will be lifting the equipments, cutting the materials, joining them, or many other things. So here also it is nothing but a cause for noise or pollution. Household course at houses, whatever the devices you are using, especially it will be in the form of a tape recorder or the television sets or some other devices, in between, it may be in the kitchen also, they are also nothing but providing a noise. Then fireworks, yes, especially during Ganesh Chaturthi, Deepavali, when we are using high intensity fireworks, automatically what happens? Large amount of sound is developed, so it is also a cause. Agricultural machines, the tractors, the pump sets, and then the harvesters, they are all nothing but a cause for more intensity of sound, nothing but in the field of agriculture. Then defense equipment, we know for defense purpose we are very much interested in developing the rockets, aircrafts, then marine ships, and when we are launching them continuously. So when it is in the high sky, we say it doesn't make any sound, but especially in the regions where people are residing, where they are working, they are very much having a trouble with them. So therefore, they are nothing but it is also a cause for the noise pollution. Apart from that, there are some miscellaneous sources. It may be in the form of some there is surrounding activities going on, some other activities, nothing but taken into account as a miscellaneous sources. Then, what are its effects? So, very very important because noise is causing major damage to the air itself. So, therefore, there are chances of people getting completely deaf also. That is, as I said, the auditory effects. The people become deaf. Then sometimes it leads to irritation. Yes, many times we have seen when suddenly we return from our home and there is a huge call at our home, we get irritated and definitely we go to for scolding, or sometimes a huge quarrel also happens. So therefore, there is irritation of excess sound also. Then it reduces the work efficiency. Yes, it is very right. So in a working environment, when you are working completely in a good fashion, suddenly if there is a noise which is therefore continuously occurring to you, so automatically what you feel, it becomes very much tough for you, and as a result what happens, you are nothing but your work efficiency decreases. Similarly, the physiological effects also vary. Then health effects, sometimes the people who are who are heart patients, if they are getting more exposed to the heavy noise conditions, sometimes they may get even heart disorders also, or sometimes heart attacks happen. So this is a very very important thing. Then there is trouble in communicating the devices. Then animals, yes, nowadays we have seen that in the forest also some of the animals are rare to visit, they have become extinct. Why? Because when the industries go on increasing near the forest areas or surrounding areas, or building up the dams and other things, so automatically it is they are nothing but they are taking away their independent life. So automatically they feel that they are uncomfortable and they move out from those particular regions. Then effect on non-living things, that is, it may be the hills, the mountains, even they're having some effect for the noise pollution. Then what are the control measures? So control measures, very very important thing is the first, as I said, control at receiver's end. Yes, so if the persons who are working in the factories, industries, when they are working completely on the machines, we know that they are working for completely 8 hours, sometimes even 12 hours also. So with this intensity, definitely their ears are going to be affected. So therefore, if the workers are working with having earplugs with them, so automatically the problem of hearing can be reduced to a greater extent. So which means the operator is working on machines, he has to work with proper earplugs in such a way that they cannot damage their ears. Apart from that, there are some chances when the machines which they are making noise, if you try to use some parts or see where the noise is happening, if you try to reduce the formation of noise, so automatically the level of noise formation can be reduced to a greater extent, that is suppression of noise at the source point itself. Then acoustic zoning, that is nothing but planning. So many times we have seen that whenever the buildings have been planned, there is a huge number of echo happening. So for that, what we do is the plants have been taken into the halls, or pots have been arranged where the acoustics happens, and because of that the noise can be reduced to a greater extent. If possible, go for usage of soundproof devices where the soundproof chambers can be developed. Because of that insulation also, automatically sound problem can be reduced. Then as I said, planting of trees, it is also a very good feature for controlling the noise, white noise. And very very important thing is this is regarding the legislative measures, that is until and unless some acts have been developed by the government itself nobody is going to voluntarily have control measures on the noise, especially in the during the festivals, campaignings. They increase the sound level up to night 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock also becomes very much uncomfortable for the residents also, especially it is uncomfortable for even some lives also, it may be the birds, animals. So therefore there should be some legislative measures where the sound, that is noise, has to be used within a particular extent. When some it varies, so automatically it leads to some fine or punishments also. So this is with respect to the noise, students, that is the noise pollution. So similarly we have another one is the nuclear hazards. So nuclear hazards, you can see in the picture how much powerful is this nuclear material, and already I have discussed in the previous session regarding the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So the nuclear material, no doubt it is having the highest energy, but if it is not handled very properly, then its adverse effects are also very high. Its adverse effects are also very high. So therefore when it is to be handled, please handle it carefully, use it properly, and apart from that even disposing also plays a very important role. So now we will be discussing with respect to the nuclear material, that is nuclear hazards. So what are the causes? So generally the nuclear accidents which are happening from nuclear generation power plants. So regarding this, I would like to recommend you or remind you regarding one famous nuclear disaster, that is the Chernobyl nuclear disaster which happened in the Ukraine. So this was a heaviest nuclear disaster where a lot of people died, and still they were unable to control the nuclear energy. So when it is happening, if the accident happens from the nuclear power plant, it becomes very much uncontrollable, especially the life becomes very extinct, we can say there. Then every country, we know students, everybody is very much interested in preparing the weapons for the safety purpose. As a result, every country is developing the nuclear weapons. So the very important thing is, they may develop these weapons from their safety point of view, but their usage has to be limited. We know that the North Korea especially is testing many number of nuclear missiles, but the testing has to be done only for their safety purpose. It has not to be used. So now every country is joining hands to have nuclear safe testings or nuclear free test, where the nuclear weapons developing can be dropped to some extent. So nuclear materials have to be used very carefully. Then use of radioisotopes. So not only in the industries or in the defense sector, even they are used even in the medicine sector, production sector, many other purposes. So when these radioisotopes are used, their radiations are so much powerful that if they meet directly with the skin, directly or indirectly, of the human beings, they may even lead to the mutation. Sometimes even they may lead to cancer also. We know regarding the famous scientist known as Madame Marie Curie. She was the person who received the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the radium and curium. So when she was busy in testing those or discovering those, she had died because of this, herself exposed to more radioactive radiations. So therefore it is also a major thing. Then when you are mining the nuclear material from the Earth's crust, very important thing, as I said, these radiations are very powerful. So therefore it is also nothing but a cause for the nuclear hazard. Spillage. So when it is being transported from one place to another place, the care should be taken, especially safety measures, especially the transportation, and everything has to be maintained. Suppose if even the small leakage or droppage happens, automatically it is nothing but a contamination of the nuclear hazard, and it may affect the surrounding life cycle also. Then when the tests have been carried out on the radiations, there are different kinds of rays emitted. It may be the alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays, and these rays are having energy to cause damage to the entire life cycle. It is in the form of cosmic rays, other natural sources. Then once the material usage is done, we say that the waste material, it may be the ash in the power plants or the effluents, it has to be disposed of very carefully. Otherwise there are chances that it may affect the other lives, because even the waste which is there, it is having some life cycle, the decay period. We say students, automatically this decay period, sometimes if it is exposed directly to the surroundings, it is nothing but causing an effect on the surrounding environment. So therefore This is also a cause. Then defensive weapon production, as I said, with respect to a particular extent only, with respect to your country, the production has to be done, and the usage depends only when it is needed. Otherwise, its adverse effects are also very high. Then what are its effects? As I said, the very much important is the mutation. It is nothing but when the radiations are exposed, or if you are exposed directly to the radiations, then automatically there is change in your DNA, which is nothing but mutation happening. Mutation in the sense it may lead to the development of a new life cycle. Sometimes it may lead even to the death also. Then a number of diseases such as cancer, leukemia, skin cancer, different kinds of diseases are also developed. Then if the nuclear material is disposed onto the land, as I said, the soil becomes toxic, it loses its nutrients, energy, infertile. Not a single microorganism is going to live there because it is having that much power. So that is the reason I gave the example of with the two cities, that is the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So still now also there is no life in those places where the atomic bombs were dropped, and still now the infants which they are born, they are having some of the things, defects in their body itself. That is the Hiroshima and the Nagasaki. It may lead even to destruction of the cells also. Then sometimes when it exposed to a skin exposed to radiations, on the skin you get burns and rashes happens. It's nothing but you have, it is the indication that the radiations are, you are exposed right to the radiations. Then there is effect on the wildlife. Yes, certainly the animals, the plants, the birds, the marine life, when they are affected, automatically they are nothing but they may get some diseases, disorders, health disorders, change in their life cycle. Sometimes it may lead to their death also. This is maximum cases happening. So these are some of the nuclear hazards. Similarly, what are the control measures? The control measures, students, as I said, very important thing is, once after your usage, the method which you are using for disposing it, you have to follow a correct method such that the radioactive waste can be taken away very correctly. It can be disposed of very easily, and when it is disposed of, please seal it in a proper containers along with cement concrete surrounding, and bury it in the deepest side of the oceans where the temperature level is very low, such that the radioactive decay life, it is reduced to some extent. The life cycle is there. I don't say it doesn't vanish, it will be reduced, which means it is nothing but a small step towards the control measure. Then when the nuclear material which you are having, the particular nuclear material, it may be the uranium, thorium, radium, tritium, phosphorus, whichever nuclear material is you are handling, please label them on the containers, or the information has to be displayed very carefully such that it should be known to the people who are handling which type of nuclear material is there, what are safety measures have to be followed, and how it has to be developed, disposed of. Then, as I said, now from safety point of view, every country wants to test the nuclear missiles, but testing has to be limited, and if possible try to ban those nuclear tests, because one day or the other day when the country's crisis happens, there are chances that without any information they may put the missiles on some other countries also. So it is a good step that the banning of nuclear tests has to be done. Go for alternative energy sources. Yes, as I said, if in your country, if you say there is only nuclear source, try to search for having another source of energy which can meet your daily energy demands. That is going for alternative energy sources. Proper storage of the nuclear material has to be done, and very important things is always the safety measures and precautions have to be followed by every person. I repeat, by every person. These things, if you practice out, automatically the nuclear material hazards can be reduced to a greater extent. So these are some of the things with respect to nuclear hazards, and as well as the noise pollution. So if you have any doubts, you can send me an email, as I given my WhatsApp number also. Thank you, students.